15 minutes and counting. Welcome back into another edition of 15-Minute Fantasy, your Saturday night start sit show. I'm your host, Hutchinson, along with your co-host, Luke Sawhook. So before we jump into these questions, we just got to go through some injury news, update you guys on these injuries. So I'm going to pull these up real quick. So I'm going to go through by position today. So let's start with the quarterback position. Daniel Jones for the New York Giants is active this week. He did have just an awful concussion, awful hit, but he's going to be active this week.
I'm actually shocked he's playing this week. He looks
I
bad.
am a bit shocked he's playing. I don't think he's a great start this week against the Rams, and especially with this injury, but he's going to play this week. Tua Tagovailoa, for the Miami Dolphins is active this week. I'm not sure if he's the best start coming off this injury. And with, Devontae Parker being out, that's one of the weapons gone. But
you're playing the Jaguars, though. That's tempting.
He is playing the Jaguars. It is tempting. But I don't think he's anything more than QB2 this week.
I agree.
And then for the running back position, Kareem Hunt is questionable for this game. He's projected to he's likely to play. So I expect him to play this game, but he's questionable, so just monitor it. Joe Mixon is questionable. I have seen some reports lately that Joe Mixon, if he plays this week, will likely get a full workload or a normal workload against the Lions. That's going to be great if he does. So if he's starting, you got to start him in your lineup. Deandre Swift for the Detroit Lions, questionable. I expect him to play. Ezekiel Elliott for the Dallas Cowboys, questionable. I expect him to play. And Tony Gibson for the football team, questionable. I expect him to play. He's played the last couple of weeks. Chase Edmonds for the Cardinals, questionable. I expect him to play. He played last week. Melvin Gordon, questionable. I expect him to play. Jamal Williams, questionable. I expect him to play. Damien Harris, probably going to play. McCaffrey, this one is huge. He's ruled out. He also got put in IR.
It's really rough. It's really rough, especially if you're like me.
This is getting bad. This is really getting bad. This is getting really rough for McCaffrey owners. I don't own him in very many leagues, luckily.
Dude, I actually have him in a ton this year. It sucks.
Really?
I have him in like
first overall pick and a ton?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, one's a keeper, and I have McCaffrey as my keeper. And then I got the first overall pick in a couple. So I'd say out of like 10 redraft leagues, I have him in like 4. It's pretty gross.
Ouch.
It's pretty gross. But, I'm waiting for him to come back healthy. I still have faith. I mean, he'll be there for the stretch, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I'm just scared that the Panthers, I'm scared we could see a season like last year where it's just, he's going to come back. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's going to come back. No, he's not.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared about that too.
I'm a bit scared. All right. Nick Chubb for the Cleveland Browns ruled out. Saquon Barkley ruled out. Chris Carson ruled out. Damian Williams ruled out. A lot of tough injuries this week for the running back position. Tyreek Hill, questionable. I expect him to play. He was a bit banged up with that quad injury, but he did practice on Friday, so he should be good to go. Mike Williams did not practice at all this week and is questionable for the game. So this is a big one that you should definitely monitor. Terry McLaurin with a hamstring injury. What's up, Luke?
I said Williams is huge this week.
Oh, yeah. Terry McLaurin for the football team, questionable. I expect him to play, and if he does play, he's got a great matchup with Kansas City. I'm doing like a on-paper DFS lineup, like my first ever DFS lineup, and I have Heineke and McLaurin in that lineup. So I'm hoping.
Dude, that's a great cheap stack for sure.
It's a great stack right now in DFS. I'm loving that against the Chiefs. Kadarius Toney for the New York Giants, questionable. I expect him to play. Allen Robinson, expect him to play. He's questionable right now. Jarvis Landry, questionable. Kenny Golladay is out. Curtis Samuel is out. Sammy Watkins is out. And then fantasy football for the tight end position, TJ Hawkinson, questionable, and Gerald Everett, questionable with his COVID-19 status. I expect both. Everett's a tougher one, but Everett, you're likely not starting your lineup. Hawkinson, I expect to play. He played last week, and he had the same injury. So I think he's good. And he should be in your lineup, but I'm definitely terrified of him. He's been not great the last few weeks.
For sure. Is that all for the injury news, sir?
That is it.
All right, how many questions here? How much time do we have left, Touch? About 8 minutes?
We got 10 and a half.
Sweet. All right, we have a bunch of questions here. Let's go rapid fire. I need one. A.J. Brown, Marvin Jones, or the Visca Chenault. Let's assume full point PPR. So we got A.J. Brown against the
Buffalo Bills, who are number 1 against receivers.
We got Marvin Jones against the Dolphins, and then we got
Chenault against Dolphins.
Against the Dolphins.
So all very tough matchups.
I'll take Marvin Jones personally.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Brown with Julio. With Julio looking to be out, right? Does Julio look to be out? I didn't see anything from him on here. He's expected to play. Oh crap! If he's expected to play, then I think I'd start. If he expected to play, then I think I'd start Jones too,
Okay.
because he's not going to get that volume. That's a pretty tough
Jones
match.
or Brown, I don't really think you can go wrong, but Visca is.
Yes,
Yeah.
Visca is definitely not the start.
Okay, so we have Pollard, Latavius Murray, or Damian Harris at RB2. Could also drop Murray for Alex Collins. Also, Cooks or T. Higgins at wide receiver 2. Half-point PPR. Thanks. Okay, so let's break this down. So we have Pollard, Latavius Murray, or Damian Harris at RB2, first and foremost.
I think that's going to be Pollard. The Cowboys are going to be ahead a lot in this game. They're going to be running the ball, and Pollard's been good when they run the ball. So I expect Pollard to get at least double digits this week.
It's Pollard or Damian Harris for me. The Patriots play the Cowboys. That could be an interesting matchup. But the Cowboys actually have not been bad on defense this year so far. They've been pretty okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, the Cowboys score so much that you have to throw.
Yeah, I think I'll take Pollard as well.
Yep.
And then at wide receiver, we have Cooks or T. Higgins. So Cooks, Texans have the Cowboys. Sorry, not the Cowboys. Texans have the Colts, and then the Bengals have the Lions.
That's T. Higgins for me.
Man, I think I'm gonna take Cooks. TBH. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Colts are kind of bad, but just maybe.
Their Colts are okay against the receiver so far this year. I think I'd take Higgins just because he's still the number one of that offense. When he was on the field, he was the clear number one, and I still think he's the number one. So I think I'd take T. Higgins.
I understand that for sure. All right, moving on here. We have a live comment from my boy Ethan. Sutton, Khalil Herbert, or Fant? I think I'll take Khalil Herbert.
In a non-PPR, I think I'd take Herbert too. In a PPR, I'm taking Sutton. I love the Broncos options for this week. Melvin Gordon, I'm a bit in question about. I love the Broncos this week because the Raiders just lost their head coach, John Gruden. And I feel like the Raiders could be really dysfunctional this week.
We'll see.
I feel like they could be really dysfunctional on every part of the field this week. I feel like it could be a really bad game for the Raiders. So I love Javonte Williams this week. I love Courtland Sutton this week. Tim Patrick, I think, is a good flex play. I love Noah Fant at tight ends. And honestly, if you're desperate at a QB2 or even a QB1, if you really need someone in a deeper league, Teddy B could definitely be streamable.
I think Teddy Bridgewater is severely underrated for how good of a quarterback he is. And he's been producing very well for fantasy this year so far. He's been really solid.
He's been pretty high on QB2, right? So far in this
season. He's a reliable QB2 so far. Moving on here, we have A.J. Brown or Jacoby Myers. So A.J. Brown has and then Jacoby Myers has the Cowboys. He could be seeing Trayvon Diggs, but I think Jacoby personally.
If with Jacoby likely seeing a lot of Trayvon Diggs, there's no way I can go Jacoby here. There's no way. Mac Jones, if he knows if he throws anywhere towards Trayvon Diggs, he's going to get a pick. I feel like Mac Jones, if he tries to force feed Jacoby, I think he could have 3 picks in one game in this game. So I'm definitely taking A.J. Brown here. I'm so scared of Trayvon Diggs.
Understandable. All right. Do you see value in the Seattle offense with both quarterback and running back going on IR?
Well, value in the Seahawks offense, I mean, at receiver, I'm not trusting DK Metcalf like I normally don't. And I'm not trusting Tyler Lockett either. I mean, you probably have to start both those guys because they can, make big plays and have big games.
You can't bench DK at all.
I think
unless you have really good options, you could consider Lockett benching, but I don't think so.
Oh, you can totally consider benching DK if you want. I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think so. That's just my personal opinion, though, because I'm a DK
the only value
hater
really
for fantasy.
Collins, personally. I don't love Seattle until Russ comes back at all.
No, same here. I don't love Seattle's options.
All right, let's keep moving on here. We have Booker or Waddle, full point PPR. I'm going to take Booker.
Yep, same here. The receiving work was there for Booker last week with 4 targets.
Let's keep it short and sweet here. We only have 2 more questions after this, so
really.
We might run out, actually.
We still got 6 minutes.
Wow. Well, I don't know what's going to happen.
I'll go find some questions.
Yeah, go find some out in the Twitter sphere. We have a full point PPR flex, Jacoby Myers, Khalil Herbert, Courtland Sutton, or McCole Hardman. Ooh, I think I'm going to go with Courtland Sutton. As we talked about earlier, I think Sutton has a really good matchup this week. As Hutch touched on, Teddy Bridgewater's been really consistent, and so is Courtland Sutton. Sutton's a great option, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, this Hardman would be second for me here, though. I love Hardman this week. I have him in that. I have him in that same DFS lineup with McLaurin and Heineke. I absolutely love it.
You'd rather have Hardman over Sutton?
What?
You'd rather have Hardman over Sutton?
No, not over Sutton. He'd be the second option for me. Sutton is number one for me, but I'd rather have Hardman than either of the other two options.
I'd rather have Herbert over Hardman for sure. The volume's too good to pass up, in my opinion. All right, our last question here before we run dry. Or it looks like you found some in the private chat here. But we have Rondale Moore or Jacoby Myers in a 0.5 PPR, half point.
Ooh. I just can't play Jacoby this week. I just can't play him. I'm not confident in him. I can't play him.
I get it. But I gotta take Jacoby Myers, especially with at least some kind of PPR bonus. It's not standard. Jacoby Myers is a good wide receiver.
Yes.
I know it could be a little gross, but I just think he's going to see way more volume than Rondale Moore. Rondale could go out and put up 1 point next week.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like Jacoby could do the same thing. I feel like Jacoby could go up and put 1 point this week.
I think he sees at least 8 targets.
Oh, yeah. And all of them will be incomplete interceptions.
Nah.
Trevon Diggs is too good, man. He's so good.
I honestly think he's a little overrated just because of how many interceptions he gets. I don't think he's like a top 3 cover corner or anything like that.
Like, I've looked at some stats recently. Like in the last couple of games, teams are really avoiding whoever Trevon Diggs is covering.
Makes sense.
Like, they just don't throw him, and they throw at Anthony Brown, the second corner. And Anthony Brown's actually been solid for fantasy in terms of a IDP standpoint because he's getting a lot of tackles and a lot of incompletions because so many targets are going his way because teams are completely avoiding Trevon Diggs. They just don't want to make that risk, and especially with Mac Jones as a rookie quarterback, I don't think you're going to want him throwing his way.
Sure.
So I feel like Aguilar gets a really nice step up here. He could have a nice game.
Aguilar could have a great game.
Or Henry too. Henry was solid last week. He could have a nice game. Yeah, I'm just trying to avoid Jacoby this week. I just don't trust it. And Rondale Moore has some big play upside, so I think I'd take Rondale, but I'm scared of both options.
Yeah, I don't love both, but I'll take Jacoby. I really have Tony Pollard or Devante Williams. That's a tough one for me.
And it's the full PPR. We talked about both today.
PPR. I'm going to take Javonte just because I feel like he has more upside to rip off a huge run or just get the goal line carries. I think when in doubt, I'm going to take the more talented running back, in my opinion, which is Devante Williams, personally. How you feeling about this matchup here? Pollard or Javonte?
I mean, I think both are in very similar situations where they're in a split backfield and they're in a game where I could see both running the ball a lot because I feel like the Broncos, as I said earlier, with the dysfunctional Raiders with their head coach, I feel like the Broncos could get off to a very early lead and run the ball a ton. And I think I'm going and this is a full PPR too. For that reason, I think I'm still going to go Javonte. Javonte has had 3 catches in each of the last 3 weeks. So I think he's been involved in the passing game. He's breaking tackles, making people miss. I'm going to take Javonte.
All right, I have another question here from my Twitter DMs. We have Marlon. There's a typo, if I just let it roll. Marlon Mack or Jay McNichols?
Oh, that's terrible. That's scary, man. That is.
I'm gonna take Marlon. I'm gonna take Marlon Mack.
Yep, I'm gonna take Marlon Mack too. It's terrifying to start either of those two, but Marlon Mack, I think against the Texans, there's gonna be a lot of running volume. That's why I love Jonathan Taylor for this week. I think there's gonna be a lot of running volume. They're gonna be off to an early lead against the Texans, especially with Tyrod Taylor still being out. Right, he's out, right?
Yeah, he's
still on IR, right? Yeah. Marlon Mack. I think he's going to see solid volume. Nyheim Hines has been slowly faded out of this offense, and Marlon Mack had a great game last week. Giving my guy Cam Akers some hope with that Achilles tear.
Oh man, dude, I'm
really hoping
Henderson produced as well as he has this season. Just makes me so sad that Cam Akers didn't play this year because he would have been smashing right now.
I told people, man. I'm telling you, man, he would have smashed.
Anyway, we have a question. Hutch, did you make this one up or did you find it somewhere?
No, I actually found it.
Okay. Taylor Heineke or Justin Herbert this week? It's Herbert for me, easily.
Herbert played the Ravens, right?
Ravens in prime time. This game's gonna be like a 30-30 game, in my opinion.
Probably. I'm tempted to play Heineke though. I'm so in on the Washington offense this week.
I understand.
But I'm so in. But no, I'm gonna take Herbert. I think
Justin Herbert.
It's so close to me though. I think I actually have Heineke ranked ahead of Herbert at this moment in my rankings for this week.
What? Really?
I do. I'm so confident in Heineke, but if you need but for the safer option, I think I'm going Herbert.
I like Taylor Heineke a lot. He has that rushing floor that's amazing for fantasy, but I just can't pass up the talent of Justin Herbert. I feel like it's impossible.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for
this. To get there.
15-minute fantasy, and we'll see you guys next week. Any parting word, Touch?
No, man. Wrap it up. Let's go.
Goodbye.
See y'all.